I'm head of financial market relations of the Saving Banks Finance Group. I'm only focused on the question of how saving banks serve their municipalities. So I'm trying not to tell you too much about saving banks at all, as Dr. Jacquemin Falles will give the keynote speech a bit later today. I would like to focus on 5 points, how saving banks serve the municipalities. The first one is the original principle. I will tell you something about the welfare orientation of saving banks, our public mandate, and then telling you something about local employers and local taxpayers. We already heard from Richard Werner in the morning quite a lot of this when he mentioned saving banks, so hopefully I'm not repeating it. One very interesting picture could be this map from Germany. On the right-hand side, you see the density of branches in Germany per inhabitant. On average, you can say for every 4,000, 4,400 inhabitants, you find one branch, nearly everywhere in the country. On the left-hand side, you see the major banks. These are the private banks, stock-listed banks, and so on. If you aggregate these banks together, you find out that for 48,000 inhabitants, you find one branch. The only question is of which bank. And in this, yes, you can see it in these darker places, these darker, grayer places, there you find no branches at all. So if you are a customer and you're looking for a bank and you're in the wrong area, you have got a problem. You wouldn't find anybody who is giving you financial services. This is quite important as we are very, very close to the customer in the area. Behind this model of the density of branches stands a regional principle, which is, I think, the most important issue for a successful saving bank or regional bank. This regional principle means that a saving bank can only work in the region where it is founded. 200 years ago, the first saving banks were coming up. They were built up in the region and were growing. They cannot go out. Means if they are thinking that in Munich much nicer weather as in Hamburg, they cannot open branches there. So any way of cherry picking is impossible. So they have to stay there. This also means that local deposits of the customers are financing local loans in the same area. And certainly, the saving banks in this area are tax-paying institutions. Not that they are better humans, but they can't avoid to pay taxes as they have to stay there. So the situation of banks, or even I heard in Britain also of coffee companies who are not paying any taxes, for saving banks this isn't possible at all. They are very focused on their business, and because of it, they are also focused on the risks of their loans. So they have to have a very good risk monitoring system, because otherwise they cannot stay with this regional principle in the area, as they cannot say they invest the next euro in Singapore because it's nicer there. I'm coming to the second one. It's a welfare orientation. Saving banks are not maximizing their profit. This means they do have to make profits, because without profits, they cannot generate equity. And without having equity, they cannot grow. But all of the amount which they do not need for equity, they have to give for the welfare orientation of the bank. This means, on average, every year they're giving around 500 million euros in nearly all projects which exist. It's not really important if it's social, culture, sports, or educational projects. You can say that whenever you see a museum, an exhibition, an old castle, or whatever it is, you can be sure it is financed through German saving banks. If you see 4-year-old girls learning the violin, you can be also sure that the saving banks are financing this project. It's the same as if you're looking in the kindergarten. But what they are not doing, they are not coming instead of the government, not instead of the official budget into this project, but instead they are coming and said, all right, we are financing it possible to 50% if the government is also joining this project, because they want not that they are paying part of the official government budget. I have to tell you something about the public mandate. Saving banks do have a public mandate. This mandate means that every saving bank has to provide financial services to every citizen in his region and provide financial services to all SMEs in the region and to help the citizens to save money and to help the SMEs to grow. There's no chance for a saving bank not to follow this public obligation because it's a mandate it is fixed also in the law of every saving bank how to behave. This public mandate helps that we have no situation, what we heard in the morning, that SMEs are looking for loans and don't know how to find it. And certainly we have no people who haven't got a current account, as they certainly can go to a saving bank and open it, and it would work. With this, you have got also the other two factors, this local employers and certainly local taxpayers. Saving banks, as we heard, employed 360,000 people in around 15,000 branches all over the country. They've got 19,000 trainees, means young people who get their apprenticeship with a saving bank, possible working later on for the saving banks, but they have not to, they can also go to universities or wherever. Altogether, we are paying 2.7 billion euros every year on taxes. And so we are quite important for the communities as a tax-paying institutions. Certainly by giving these loans, these are around 700 billion in lending to customers. And as we know, for enterprises, it's 350 billion euros. It's quite important for the development in this community. So there's a kind of trusteeship between the municipality and the saving bank, which is very important that this link is very, very closed. There's no political influence, but there's a normal communication line between the saving bank and the municipality. And certainly because every town hall master, every region knows what it means to have its own saving bank. It's not possible that the saving bank is closing down the branches because it's not useful anymore to provide financial services. They are staying there as they were staying the last 200 years there. So this part is very important for the communities to know that whenever a crisis was coming up, like in 2008 and 2009, the saving banks, similar to the cooperatives certainly, they cannot move away, they cannot go out. This helps. The success of the German economy is only a success of this model of small regional banks in Germany. As our small SMEs were getting in 2009 liquidity and financing, even if all the other banks moved out. You will later on from Karl-Peter Schackmann-Falles getting a few slices to see what happens with the SMEs during the crisis. So this link with the municipality is for the saving bank very important and successful, but also the other way around for the municipality itself, because they know what it means to have the people employed and to develop the country. Great. This was all of it. I have got some brochures with me. I pass it through later on. So if somebody's interested, I haven't got it for everybody, but I think 30
okay.
papers.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Thomas.